Following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
What's going on, folks? It's Main Street Sports Today. I'm Chris Yao, alongside Mo Patton. Mo, what's up, man? Glad to see you here.
Well, glad to be here, I reckon.
I mean, technology's a wonderful thing when it works, and luckily we were able to get you.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you and Justin would have gone on without me, I guess. And
well, I don't know how great that would have been. We were sitting here going, what are we gonna do?
So that idea did come up before you came on. I'm not gonna lie, and it just didn't sound like it was gonna be too fantastic. So I'm glad
we were over here freaking out, like, okay, what happens now? We don't know what to do. So luckily we don't have to worry about that because Mo was able to get on. We have a great show today, Mo. It's always fun when you get to talk to Chip Walters. And
never a dull moment with Chip. So.
And we have the new Middle Tennessee State basketball court and Murphy Center to talk about, and so much more. So that's coming up in the second half of today's show. And coming up shortly, we have OLIN Buchanan of TexAgs.com, TEXAgs.com. He's going to join us to talk a little Texas A&M foosball. It's always fun. And it's Top 5 Tuesday. I know that some of you may have seen the tweet from earlier where SEC Network had a tweet that said, there's nothing like running out of the tee. And I thought, well, is that true? I don't know. Let's talk about our top 5 college football game day traditions. So that's what we're going to do a little bit later. But got a pretty big rundown today, Mo. So I'm thinking we might want to go ahead and knock that out first. What do you say?
That'll work.
This is the rundown.
You're going to have to go, Chris, because I don't have it in front of me yet.
That's all good. And Monday volleyball action. It was Columbia Central 3, Columbia Academy 1, Summertown down Eagleville 3-2. That's a big win for the Eagles over the Eagles. Fairview 3, Harpeth 1. It was Franklin shutting out Spring Hill 3-0, and Hampshire with a close win over East Hickman 3-2. Lawrence County down Loretto. That's a big win for the Lady Cats, 3-1. Middle Tennessee Christian blanked Riverdale 3-0. Green Hill blanked Stewart's Creek 3-0, and FC Boyd Christian down Zion Christian also 3-0.
Keep going.
In girls soccer action, it was Bowling Green, Kentucky 2, Innsworth 1, Forest a 6-1 winner over Middle Tennessee Christian. Culleoka 6-0 over Giles County. Good Pasture down John Overton 2-1. It was Martin Luther King 9, Cane Ridge 2. Oakland a 2-1 winner over Franklin. It's pretty big game there. Merle Hyde 4, Portland 0, Murfreesboro Central 2, Rockville 0. Watertown down Friendship Christian 2-0, and Cascade defeated Zion Christian 8-3.
In pro baseball on Monday night, it was the Phillies with a 4-3 win over Cincinnati. The Nats downed the Cubs 5-4. The Dodgers 4-0 over the Brewers. And in a score we'll be discussing more later, the Braves 13, the Mets 1. Today's volleyball schedule is a pretty lengthy one. beginning at 5 o'clock as Hampshire travels to Collinwood. At 5:30, Stewart's Creek is at Lipscomb Academy. Also, the Webb School of Bell Buckle is at Providence Christian. At 6 o'clock, Riverdale's at Coffee County. Middle Tennessee Christian is at Columbia Academy. Columbia Central is at Culleoka. Murfreesboro Central is at Giles County. Waverly is at Harpeth. Marshall County is at Lawrence County. East Hickman's at Mount Pleasant. Again, these games are all at 6 o'clock. Eagleville is at Rockvale. Zion Christian travels to Santa Fe. Harpeth Hall is at Siegel. And Loretto is at Perry County at either 6 or 7. Pick one.
I haven't decided. I didn't know, so I just left it as it was. It's probably 6, but as everybody else, but who knows? Of course, it's not an easy drive, I assume, from Loretto to the middle of Perry County. So,
yeah,
who knows? In matches with no time listed, Station Camp at Bowling Green, Kentucky. Centennial hosting Page. White House Heritage is at Hendersonville. Davidson Academy hosting Good Pasture. Fairview's at home against Montgomery Central. University School of Nashville is at Franklin Road Academy. Independence travels to Hillsboro, and Sycamore is at Stewart County.
In girls soccer, first touch at 4:45. Tullahoma is at Lead Academy. At 5 o'clock, Hillwood is at Valor Collegiate. 5:30 games. Lebanon is at Blackman. Nashville Christian is at McGavock. And Smyrna is at Riverdale. At 6 o'clock, Donaldson Christian takes on host Pope John Paul II or Pope Prep, depending on your preference. Watertown is at DeKalb County at 6. Also at 6, Green Hill takes on visiting Gallatin. Independence Academy, not to be confused with Independence High School, is at Laverne at 6 o'clock. Murfreesboro Central is at Lawrence County. Wonder if they hitched over with the no, never mind. Murfreesboro Central is at Lawrence County at 6. Station Camp is at Lipscomb Academy. Marshall County is at Spring Hill, and Portland is at Sycamore. All 6 o'clock starts.
At 6:30, Cornersville will be at Zion Christian. Franklin Road Academy hosting Martin Luther King at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, it's Liberty Creek at Beach and Siegel at Centennial. Columbia Academy is hosting Fairview. Father Ryan at home against Hendersonville. White House traveling to Independence. Again, all this at 7. Merle Hyde at Macon County. Rockville at Shelbyville. Brentwood travels to Stewart's Creek and Summit, hosts Ravenwood.
In Major League Baseball tonight, Philadelphia continues its series at Cincinnati. That's a 5:40 start. At 6:05, the Cubs take on the host Nats. The Braves continue their 4-game series against visiting New York at 6:20. At 6:45, Colorado plays at St. Louis, and at 7:10, the Dodgers are at Milwaukee.
Finally, that's going to do it for today's rundown. Mo, again, big show coming up today. Our top story, I was hoping you might have one. No, our top story, I was scrolling through Twitter earlier, and there is some pretty good discussion about Marcus Mariota down in Atlanta. And I wanted to get your opinion on this because obviously we know that the Buccaneers are in town and they'll be practicing with the Titans. And, the Titans South in Atlanta, they've got a joint practice this week as well. But apparently, from what I saw, Marcus Mariota, who has certainly taken some hits in his career, made sure to stay away from getting hit today, much to the delight of those on Twitter covering the Falcons. Said that he scrambled, slid, and apparently everyone cheered because he didn't. Obviously, you're not going to take a hit, but I mean, sliding and taking that, what you get is something that apparently Arthur Smith has been preaching to the former Titans quarterback.
Yeah, good for him. That's kind of a veteran move right there. At this point, he doesn't have to prove anything in preseason, and take what you can get and get out. You're not going to win any preseason championships or any preseason, joint practice championships or anything like that. And there's no sense in exposing yourself to a big hit if you can avoid doing so in August.
Yeah, and I thought it was, as I'm looking through, he was actually trending on Twitter when I was looking earlier, and his offensive grade against the Lions was tops among Falcons offensive players at 92.2.
And that's interesting because the buzz coming out of that ball game was about Desmond Ridder. And I think there's going to be some things to be excited about with Ridder as things go on. But I don't know if the Falcons have decided if they're fish or fowl right now. I mean, do they feel like they can compete? Certainly not with the Buccaneers, but can they compete for a playoff spot, or are they in a tear down and rebuild? What are the Falcons? And I don't know that that's been decided outside of that organization or inside that organization, to be honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, apparently, Mariota was not sliding in the preseason game against Detroit. So he has apparently corrected that, and hopefully
or had that corrected
by Arthur Smith. So apparently things are a little different. I saw do you remember that where the dude from the Pistons in the Lakers game went after the Lakers dude? God, I can't remember. He was just he got elbowed in the face from Detroit and then was about to try to go fight LeBron. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, somebody said Marcus Mariota carrying the ball during preseason, and he's just, running through security and everybody else. So apparently Arthur Smith had that discussion. But my question to you is Marcus Mariota going to have a better season than Baker Mayfield? Now, remember, Baker Mayfield may not play. So now you got to, there's some extra in here. Who has the better first year with the new team?
Ooh, I think Mariota, McCaffrey notwithstanding, I think Mariota probably has more to work with.
Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts, etc.
Yeah. So
and he's going to play for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he is. I don't think Ridder starts unless Mariota gets hurt, and so if it's a healthy Mariota versus Mayfield and whatever his situation is in Carolina, I think it's Mariota in that question.
All right. Well, I would tend to agree with you. So, all right, let's take a quick break, Mo. We've got Olin Buchanan who's going to join us here momentarily, talk a little Texas A&M football. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone, and join us back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton as we continue our coverage and previews of college football from around the Southeastern Conference. It's been a long trek through the SEC West thus far. We have Andy Burcham, who will join us tomorrow to talk about the Auburn Tigers. And then we'll have Neil Price, the voice of the Bulldogs, on Thursday to round out the SEC West with Mississippi State. Today, we talk about the number 6 team in the country, according to the Associated Press media poll, Texas A&M. And to do that, we have on the line with us Olin Buchanan of TexAgs.com. Olin, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to talk to people back in Nashville. I lived there for about 7 years and always liked that area. So good to be on with y'all.
Well, you're one of the few, Olin, that has been in Nashville and left. We can't get people out of here, man. So
well, actually, I lived in Franklin, and it was not by choice. So,
full disclosure, Olin, I'm a Franklin native, so tread carefully. No,
no. I meant I was at a job where I got laid off, and so would not have left if had not that been the case. But I was fortunate to land with TexAgs, and I've been there ever since. 10 years.
So, someone laid off in Nashville. If only we knew some other people like that.
That never happens, does it? Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on with us, Olin, and again, especially on short notice, we were trying to figure out who we could reach out to, because we don't have a whole lot of contacts west of LSU, basically, and reached out to Chris Lee with Southeastern 14, and he said, I'd get Olin Buchanan. And suddenly the light came on, because we had you on with us last year as well, and appreciate you coming back. So what's the feel in College Station right now?
Optimism. Feel like a good season is imminent. It's just the question is how good, and it's going to start with the quarterback, because they feel like they've got some good quarterbacks. The question is how good are they? And if they can get some better quarterback play and fill a couple of holes here and there, they feel like there's a chance to have a big year in College Station.
It's always the quarterback, isn't it?
Well, especially here. Last year, Haynes King was the starter. He won that competition, and then he broke his leg in the second series of the second game. And Zach Calzada took over, and he had some remarkable moments, and he had some nice moments, and he had some very average to below average moments as well. It wasn't all his fault. They had a lot of injuries in the offensive line. They didn't start 2 freshmen in the offensive line by design. It just worked out that way. But, your misfortune from last year turns out to be good fortune now, because Bryce Foster and Reuben Fothery, those freshmen starters last year in the line, are now seasoned veterans and expected to, good things are expected from them.
Meanwhile, Zach Calzada is further east in the SEC West. But How do you feel like the quarterback situation is shaping up for you guys?
Well, unfortunately, like is the case in most college campuses now, the practices are closed to the media. So we have to go by what Jimbo Fisher tells us, and he's not telling us a lot. He says it's the competition between Max Johnson, last year's LSU starting quarterback, Connor Wigman, who is a 5-star freshman, and then Haynes King, who again was the starter last year before he got hurt. He tells us it's very even. That could be because it is even. It could be because he doesn't want anybody transferring out. Who knows what the situation is there? But the feeling is that Haynes King is probably the guy that'll emerge as that starter. He won the job last year. He's been in the system with Jimbo Fisher for 3 years. Good passer, outstanding speed, might be the second or third fastest guy on the team. So he has a lot of things going for him. So we think that I would, if I had to bet, I'd bet on Haynes. I just wouldn't bet a lot of money.
It's understandable. Olin Buchanan of TexAgs.com. Whoever wins that quarterback battle has certainly got some workout buddies. Despite Jalen Weidermeyer being gone at tight end, who was last year's yardage leader, Anaya Smith is here. Evan Stewart certainly plans to be part of the fun pretty quickly. Jalen Preston, 15 yards a catch. Chris Marshall, Noah Thomas are great recruits as well. Who do you feel like is the biggest threat on this outside wide receiver core?
Still Anaya. I mean, that's a guy that's proven. He's been a 2-year starter. I think he might. If you saw the game against Alabama last year, he had a really big game in that one. Had a couple touchdown catches in that, including the one that tied it at 31, or I guess it was at 38 because they won 41-38. So Anaya is the most experienced. He's the most. He's done the most. He may not get necessarily the most catches, but he's the guy they love and they use him a lot. But the most important guy might be Evan Stewart, because Evan is looked at, although he's only a freshman, he's looked at as maybe the missing piece to the offensive puzzle here. A&M has not had the guy, the deep threat that can stress the defense and maybe make those safeties, step out of the box. And the thing is, there's no doubt about that he has the speed. If he can get off the line of scrimmage and he looks like he runs good routes when we've seen, we'll see. But he has he's one of those 5-star guys in that recruiting class. A lot's expected of him. The hope is that he'll come here and make an impact as a freshman the way Christian Kirk did when he came here as a freshman several years ago, and he was good right away. But they've also had some in the past had some highly rated guys that came in. A lot was expecting them as freshmen. They didn't show up. So you got to take it on an individual basis. Right now we're hearing good reports from Evan. But again, until they actually show it on the field against some SEC press coverage, you got to have a certain amount of apprehension, I think.
When they start throwing your name around with Christian Kirk in College Station, that kind of makes you perk up and take notice, does it not, Olin?
Yeah, Christian is revered here. He did some great things from the first day, from the first game. I believe he scored a touchdown turned a short pass to a long touchdown, returned a punt for a touchdown against number 15 Arizona State in his first game, and he just wowed them for the next 3 years. And they're hoping that Evan Stewart can come in and be that guy that, even though he's a freshman, can come in and be productive. And again, if he can be that deep threat, it seems like every time I looked up last year, everybody had 9 or 10 in the box because they didn't think A&M could beat them deep. If they could get that deep threat that makes those safeties step out, maybe that opens up some more space for Anaya Smith. Maybe it allows Devon A-Chain, the running back, a little more room. Could help all kinds of things. It is the missing piece of the puzzle, and they hope Evan Stewart is it.
And you certainly, I guess everybody out there kind of breathed a sigh of relief when you got Anaya back from his issues there. The third team All SEC receiver coming out of SEC Media Day, second team return specialist, third team all-purpose guy. So he's a guy that you like to see the ball in his hands quite a bit.
Yeah, he came here as receiver, and then as a sophomore, they moved him to running back, and he started the first game of the season against Vanderbilt, that 2020 year where everything was so messed up. And but then they let Isaiah Spiller come in, and Isaiah Spiller did maybe better than they expected. And they realized, I think we're a better team if we can have Isaiah and Anias on the field at the same time. So they moved Anias back to receiver, which was fine with him because he always said that was his best position anyway. So they potentially have a lot of talent at the skill positions with him, and again potentially Evan Stewart and Devon Achane at running back.
That's who I was wanting to talk about, was Devon Achane. Obviously, Isaiah Spiller is gone, but this is a guy that ran for almost 1,000 yards last year, averaged 7 yards a carry. He is a serious threat, especially if you get some of that threat on the outside to take the top off and keep those safeties out of the box. He could be a serious star for this team.
Yeah, I know I'm going to sound like a big homer here, but don't be surprised if he becomes something like Kenny Walker last year at Michigan State. A lot of people didn't know who he was, and then by November he was in the Heisman chase. A lot of folks in the College Station, as good as Isaiah was calling for wanting to see more of Devon last year. I think he only had more than 12 carries in 2 games. He finished with 910 yards. You might remember that Alabama game. He returned a kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown. He was the MVP of the Orange Bowl win over North Carolina in 2020. So when he's gotten his chance, he's been pretty spectacular. And so I think there's a lot of folks here that's really excited about the idea that he's finally the featured back to the splitting time.
As again, we were speaking with Olin Buchanan of TexAgs.com. I want to roll over to the defense a little bit because you guys lost a lot of firepower on that defensive front, but Tennessee native Walter Nolan comes in, Shamar Stewart, a couple other prospects who should be taking some snaps early for the Aggies. What does that front seven look like on the defense?
Well, I'll say this: for our entire history in Texas, we've been counting on folks from Tennessee coming over all the way back.
Oh, nice!
To give us some defense.
Little David Crockett history lesson here.
Yeah, we're counting on Walter to just keep that tradition going. Walter is if you believe the recruiting service's rankings, he's the highest rated defensive player, or actually any player ever to sign with Texas A&M. He was rated higher. His number that they gave him was higher than that of Myles Garrett. So if he can come in and give even a taste of what Myles gave us as a freshman, everybody will celebrate that. But
I can tell you, we saw him in the state championship game, Olin, and he was as good as advertised, and I don't even think he was 100% when he played.
Well, that's good to hear, because he's unlike when Myles got here. He doesn't necessarily have to be in the starting lineup right away. They've got a guy who's a 5-star guy, but redshirt last year, named Tumisi Adelie. Fidel Diggs, kid came down from New Jersey to play defensive end. They're really excited about both of those guys. But hey, one thing we've learned here under Jimbo Fisher, the best guy's going to play no matter what his classification is. So Walters comes down here and the best guy, he's going to play. And quite frankly, if he can get to the quarterback, they're going to find a place for him, because A&M had 39 sacks last year, but I think 35 of them or thereabouts were recorded by guys that are no longer on the roster. So they're going to need to replace some of that pass rush. And Walter was one of about, I think, five-star defensive linemen that was part of this class. So they're definitely going to have that chance. And again, Walter just come in and, hey, provide that defense like David Crockett and Sam Houston did, and You know what? You might end up being a Texas legend too.
There you go. Of course, we all know what happened to David Crockett at the Alamo. So let's.
Yeah, but Sam did all right.
Sam wasn't bad. Sam wasn't bad.
Sam became president. Next thing you know, Walter might be governor.
Hey, there you go.
Wow. A little history lesson here on Main Street Sports today. Was not expecting that. Olin Buchanan of TexAgs.com joining us to talk a little Aggie football. And Olin, man, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon.
Oh, my pleasure. I enjoy it. Thanks for having me.
All righty.
There you go, Mo. You never know what you're going to get here on Main Street Sports today.
May learn something useful here on Main Street Sports today. I like it.
You never know. Yeah, that's right. We're going to take a quick break. Mo, when we come back, I want to move from the SEC to the Big Ten because our friend of the show, Matt Brown, wrote what he called a blog post. I don't know if that ages him or ages us or what. But the Big Ten media deal has some questions there. He is not ruling out ESPN. So I'll tell you kind of what that means on the other side of the break here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Young, Mo Patton here with you on this Tuesday edition. It is Top 5 Tuesday, and we are pumped to be coming at you live from Franklin and down here in Columbia. Mo,
Franklin, former home of Olin
Buchanan. For those of you who can see this poster here, it is a helmet schedule. Thank you, Justin. It's a helmet schedule for teams here in southern Middle Tennessee, and has a little ad here on it. But if you would like to have your very own helmet schedule for Southern Middle Tennessee, make sure to pick up a copy of Main Street Sports today, or Main Street Murray, because this week in Main Street Murray is the Fall Sports Preview tab. So you should make sure to get that. And in the middle, you can find your own copy of that helmet schedule. Take it out, put it on the wall. Be nice to have. If you want one that's this big, get with me. I can get you one. So, and you'll have mine and Mo's beautiful faces to stare at while you also look at your helmet schedule. So
Chris is quite proud of the helmet schedule because that's his creation.
And not only is it my creation, it is something that I take great pride in, and I'm glad that it has at least stayed around this long. We'll go from there. It's made it to year 3. If it makes it to year 4, I don't know, because next year we'll get all new opponents and all new helmets and
all new helmets.
I don't know if I'll have time to take care of all of them, but yeah. So Mo, as college football evolves, the broadcast rights have certainly evolved with it. I think CBS was paying $55 million to the SEC. I think that was their contract was $55 million. And now the SEC's broadcasting contract is over $300 million with ESPN. So to say that CBS had been getting a bargain for the last few years is the understatement of the century. But now the Big Ten is in negotiations, and obviously ESPN is probably not going to be a part of those negotiations. They certainly will not be for football, as it appears that CBS, Fox, and NBC will be the broadcast partners for Big Ten football. But Matt Brown of ExtraPointsMB.com has not necessarily ruled out that ESPN could be involved in some of the other sports, such as potentially basketball or the obviously ESPN Plus Olympic sports coverage and that sort of thing. The one thing he does say, though, is that losing ESPN as a partner for the Big Ten could be detrimental to the brand as a whole, because ESPN is called the worldwide leader and the mothership for a reason. Fox and CBS just don't have the sports reach that ESPN has to keep the brand going. You thought there was an SEC bias before? Just wait till now.
From this article on extrapointsmb.com, last week, SI Sport spoke to multiple college sports industry sources who said that the Big Ten's decision to move away from ESPN is, quote, risky. One of those reasons is because ESPN wields power and influence beyond broadcast windows.
And that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ESPN radio is nationwide. And if the Big Ten isn't part of that, that's a problem, because Fox Sports Radio also nationwide, not nearly as one respected, I don't think. And two, it just doesn't have the audience.
Beyond that massive inventory, ESPN also has a huge newsroom that covers college sports. They have affiliated radio stations all over the country. They have massively popular podcasts. They can promote their college sports brands on NFL broadcasts, on daytime programming, online, on social media, everywhere. ESPN has the capacity to drive the conversation on basically every platform. Fox and NBC can't do that the same way ESPN can, or at least not right now. So it's something to think about.
It really is. Look, Fox Sports is Fox Sports, and they do a great job. CBS does a great job. Both of them do great jobs in those broadcast windows. But once you get outside of that, when you're talking about podcasts, Nobody, I mean, I say nobody. The audience for Colin Cowherd, and remember, he's a guy who, doesn't just talk about college sports, right? Is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. And so losing ESPN as a partner will go far beyond those broadcast windows. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that's going to mean.
Especially if ESPN chooses to actively say, oh, okay, the Big Ten is dead to us.
And someone asked that. Matter of fact, it was someone from local ESPN radio here who asked, does this mean that College Game Day is just going to, completely ignore the Big Ten? I can't imagine that would be the case, but I mean,
why not?
If you have partnerships with all of the other 4 Power 5 conferences, you can find a game that's outside of the Big Ten to go to.
Surely there's going to be another game besides Ohio State, Michigan on that given weekend, especially
the Iron Bowl,
or Michigan State, or Ohio, Michigan State, or Penn State, Ohio State. With it, whatever the biggest game is in the Big Ten, there is going to be a comparable game on the schedule somewhere else on any given weekend.
Boy, imagine if they showed up to the Liberty Bowl for
Memphis, Cincinnati,
Jackson State and Tennessee State instead of going to Michigan State, Michigan or something.
I mean, one of them's got Dion and one of them doesn't.
I mean, there's that. But I guess it's possible. I mean, who knows? I don't know. We talk about it all the time. You lose a bit of credibility if what you're doing as a journalistic, at least journalistically, you lose some credibility if you just completely ignore something just because they're not paying you.
But at the same
time,
or
you're not paying them.
Right. Because, yeah. But still, I mean, may it come across as a little petty? In some corners, perhaps it would. But at the same time, why are we going to promote a product that we are not involved with?
That's correct. I 100% agree. So it could that could very well be the way it goes. Man. And as he says here in what does this mean for basketball? Look, basketball is going to be a problem for ESPN. They are not going to have the matchups that they want on ESPN for basketball broadcasts.
I believe ESPN can adapt.
The SEC is certainly making strides. They're obviously going to have the Big 12. They'll have the ACC, and that's good. But the Big 10
as we talked about the Big Blue beef yesterday, I mean, basketball isn't driving this whole situation. Basketball is important, but it's not football, clearly. And as you mentioned, as long as Kansas is still around, as long as the ACC is still around, Kentucky, some of these other folks, I think ESPN will be okay. It's sort of like the Big Ten Network. I mean, what kind of influence is the Big Ten Network having? What kind of numbers are they having? I don't know.
I don't either.
But I mean, I don't watch it.
I watch it occasionally. I don't watch their studio shows because I'm going to watch SEC now if I'm watching a studio show based on a college conference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure those people are up there. They're not watching the SEC network either. So that's going to stay regional, I'm sure. But the fact that ESPN has that national reach, it's only going to improve the Southeastern Conference's basketball notoriety across the country. I think you'll see a lot of these teams start getting better recruits because trust me, if you don't think ESPN is one of the reasons that the Big Ten is what it is in basketball, You're nuts. It absolutely is. Kids want to play on ESPN. They don't want to play on Fox Sports, period. That's not their goal. Their goal is not to be on CBS or Fox Sports in basketball. Now, obviously CBS and when March Madness rolls around, but that's not the goal. I mean, if you polled 100 kids right now and you said, would you rather play your regular season college basketball games on ESPN or Fox? 97% of them would say ESPN.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the brand recognition. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody says Fox Sports. Nobody says da 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 da. I mean, everybody says that after a big play. I don't even know what Fox's jingle is for college sports.
We are Fox.
Okay.
Or whatever. I don't know. I think it's something like that. We are Fox Sports.
Fox Sports. Yeah.
Boom. And then that little robot comes down or what. It's so dumb. Anyway, just a thought. That's where my mind went. And finally, his last question was, what are they going to do with the money? It's over $1 billion. This is, I guess that's going to cut down some of those travel costs for Olympic sports.
Yeah, for that Ohio State UCLA volleyball game.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse
not to
me.
mention
Penn
Rutgers.
State. Oh yeah, Rutgers UCLA. Yeah.
I mean, and
Soccer.
Rutgers, women's soccer for sure. I mean,
man,
there's going to have to be. That's where most of this money is going to end up going, is to keep those sports afloat. I think, just like it always has. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but you're talking about travel that is insanely different now. So, good luck to them. At least they have it. You don't have to go from let's say Jacksonville, Alabama to Las Cruces, New Mexico. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so good luck to the Big Ten. Good luck to ESPN. I don't know what this is going to mean for ESPN, but I think it's going to improve the world of college basketball for the Southeastern Conference.
I think when it all comes down, both ESPN and the Big Ten will be just fine, relatively speaking. But I also think that it won't be optimal for either of them.
I can see that as well. Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We got the Braves to talk about, so we'll take a fast break. And on the other side, we'll talk about the Atlanta Braves in the second half. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton. It's time to talk about the Atlanta Braves, who certainly announced their presence with authority last night against the New York Metropolitans.
Perfect. I was thinking exactly the same thing as you were setting that up. Yeah, that's good stuff.
But I don't know if you saw my tweet
I did
an hour ago.
I did.
And it just because I am the most pessimistic Braves fan anyone has ever met, most likely. They'll blow it in the playoffs kind of guy. The last time the Braves did this against the Mets, they proceeded to lose every other game in the series. The last time they did this with the Phillies, they proceeded to lose the next game and split that 2-game set. So my question is, how can the Braves avoid that tonight and get another win in a game that they really need to win?
I think Taijuan Walker is a big part of your question, because I think he was the recipient of that last breakout performance that you're referring to against the Mets.
That is true.
I think that helps. I really do. And I think the kids help. I think the energy that Vaughn Grissom and Michael Harris II and people have forgotten, that William Contreras did not begin the year with this team either. So, I mean, I think those rookies are really helping, bring a little energy, a little fire to this team right now, and let the kids play, as somebody said once. So,
and I'll tell you, our boy Ronnie has certainly come on of late.
He got a little help last night, though.
Sure, but I mean, just over the last month, he's had a really good month. He's starting to look like Ronald Acuna Jr. again in the field and at the plate. Of course, he did throw a ball into the stands after the second out.
Fortunately, there was nobody on base for that. But yeah, yeah.
Other than that,
who among us hasn't
had a little brain fart?
Yeah, exactly. So.
But no, he's had a sensational last couple of months. He's 10 homers on the year, 25 stolen bases. Hitting 278 for the season. That's not ideal for your leadoff hitter, but you got to remember what he's had to go through to get to this point. So I feel like I'm excited about what Ronnie's doing. Tonight's lineup, Ronnie leads off with Swanson behind him, who, by the way, hitting nearly 300 and leads the team in batting average if you don't count Vaughn Grissom's 429. But that's neither here nor there. Austin Riley in the 3-hole with Olsen cleaning up. Darno Contreras is the DH again. Vaughn Grissom, Harris in center field, and Robbie Grossman in left tonight. The doubles machine.
Robbie doubles.
I mean, dude he hits a lot of doubles. I don't know I don't know what's going on with him, but sure. Yeah, Dansby Swanson leading the team in a batting average, and the fact that that's even possible after his entire first month of the year is just remarkable. So
who knew, huh? Yeah. I think this team is motivated after dropping 4 or 5 in New York, particularly. And the way they just piled it on last night, that 8-run inning, I feel like there's going to be some carryover out of that.
I hope so. As it was happening last night, I told Sarah, I was like, here they go, blowing all of their runs in one game. Spread them out, fellas, save some for tomorrow kind of thing. So I don't know. I hope you're right. I hope the momentum carries. I hope the confidence carries. And you got to, because Charlie Morton's on the mound, and obviously he's been better of late for most of the game.
You don't necessarily know what you're going to get out of him, though, do you?
I mean, that 5 of the 6 innings he pitches is going to be great. It's that one inning that you don't know how bad the damage is going to be.
Or when it's going to come.
That's the thing. I mean, if you knew it was going to come in the 6th,
then you'd get him out after 5.
Get him out at 5. I mean,
so it's one of those deals where the farther he goes in the game, again, if
It's
he is
almost
still
better-
rolling in the fifth, you might want to pull the plug on him.
It's almost better if he just gives up a couple in the first. That way, you know the next 5 are going to be good, and you know what you got to have to win.
There's that.
The only problem is that Snicker typically likes to punt games where he gets down early. So
maybe it's incumbent on the Braves to score early as well.
that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Morton comes in 5-5 on the year, 4.26 ERA, but only in a 1.21 WHIP. He's pitched 122 innings, 141 strikeouts, by the way, 44 walks, which is really uncharacteristic for Charlie Morton. Taijuan Walker comes in 10-3 on the year with a 3.43 ERA, but a 1.20 WHIP. Has only struck out 85 and has also walked 31 in 110 innings pitched.
And again, the Braves have had some success against him.
I mean, he's not.
I mean, not
Eric
Eric
Fetty. I love that we were there. He's no Eric Fetty, but the Braves have certainly had success against him.
Right.
Speaking of pitchers, though, Mo, today is a good day. Today's a really good day. Because if you are a fan of the Atlanta Braves and you happen to be near Rome, Georgia, you might want to take a trip to the single A affiliate for the Atlanta Braves. That is, as today is Mike Soroka Day.
The
He's set
bearded
to
Mike
start
Soroka.
tonight. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know, man.
I guess he's from Canada. I guess he's kind of doing his lumberjack thing right now.
He was. I wonder if there's something. I don't know. It's just weird because he had such a baby face, when we saw him last.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen him,
and his hair's grown out now. He looks like a hockey player. He looks like a hockey player.
There you go. Like I said, he's getting his lumberjack on.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does down in Rome, and obviously we just hope to see him get out of Rome.
If the 2022 postseason started today, according to MLB's tweet from a few hours ago, LA would be the number 1 seed out of the National League, and they would take on the winner of the wild card matchup between 4th seeded Atlanta and number 5 Philadelphia. That would be a best of 3 series. The Mets would be the number 2 seed, and they would take on the winner of the number 3 Cardinals and the number 6 Padres. From the American League, Houston is the 1, the Yankees are 2, Cleveland's 3, Seattle's 4, Tampa Bay is 5, and Toronto is 6. So you would have 3 teams from the AL East, 3 teams from the NL East, for what that's worth.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising. Obviously, Philadelphia expecting to get Bryce Harper back soon, and they're hoping that catapults them this fall. But obviously, we're all hoping for the Mets to just collapse so that that race gets a little bit more unique. I'm not sure that worrying about the playoffs right this second is a great idea anyway, because the Los Angeles Dodgers just lost Walker Buehler for the year. And I don't know what that's going to do. We know what not having his full repertoire did for the Dodgers last year. So how does this affect them going forward in that very tough NL West division?
I don't know, just for the simple fact that the Dodgers roster, they've just got so many pieces. I don't know if it bothers them at all, to be honest.
Yeah, their lineup does, but again, Urias hasn't been great. Obviously they don't have Walker Buehler they just their rotation hasn't been just overbearing. So
they still got Gonsolin, and
Gonsolin has helped.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got Clayton Kershaw, who knows what you're going to get in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's 3:00. We got to take a break because Chip Walters awaits to talk a little Middle Tennessee State University athletics. So stick around. Chip Walters.
We gonna skip this day in Braves history?
Well, I wasn't, but Justin got a little over. Can we thank you? Let's anyway, before we take our break, as always, we have to do
almost always. August 16th, 1961, Dick Stewart's base hit with one out in the seventh inning drove home Roberto Clemente from second base, getting the visiting Pirates on the scoreboard and breaking up Warren Spahn's bid for his 53rd career shutout. Spahn had to settle for his 301st career victory as the Milwaukee Braves won 2-1. Spahn went the distance, making Frank Thomas's second inning solo home run and Eddie Matthews' third inning RBI double stand up. There, let's go to break.
Frank Thomas, the Alabama football coach, or I'm very confused. There are a lot of Frank Thomases apparently.
Frank Thomas, the former Chicago White Sox first baseman / DH. No, this is another one. This is neither of those.
Okay, just making sure. Like I'm very confused here. I guess there are so many Frank Thomases. I don't know what to do with them.
This is neither of those.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification because I didn't know.
Not a problem.
This is why we do this day in Braves history, so that I learn some history outside of David Crockett being in Texas. Now we can take that break. We're going to come back and Chip Walters will join us on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, back after this.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
All right, we're back real quick here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, as we get to talk with Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, talking a little Middle Tennessee State. Chip, what's going on, buddy?
Just a little drizzle here in the borough today, kind of a little overcast and but cool. It was probably a really good day for the players. Coaches like it when it's hot and all that kind of stuff, and probably been a good day for the players to have a little drizzle. But coming off of their first scrimmage of the fall, they'll have NCAA allows you to have two, and they'll have their second one coming up on Friday. But Saturday's was considered a success by Coach Stockstill and came away overall pretty pleased with where they are, as they're right now a work in progress.
I'm always fascinated, Chip, and I'm sure you are as well. When they have scrimmages, it's such a zero-sum type proposition. If the offense looks good, then the defense struggled. If the defense looks good, the offense struggled. And I never know how coaches figure out really where they are as far as that goes.
That's, as Jim Cartwright used to say out at Columbia Central, since Zeus inflated the pig bladder and kicked it off Mount Olympus, that's been one of the questions that's been out there. But it is, and the thing was, I think you just, I just try to go and take away. Okay, maybe watch an individual player for a few plays or that kind of thing, and you look at it right now on the offensive side, you've got a really spirited quarterback competition with two guys really vying for the starting job, and then two other guys who seem to be battling to be the number 3 guys. So and between Nick Vattiato and Chase Cunningham, both looked really well and have throughout fall camp, those two guys have almost split the snaps almost exactly evenly with the first team unit. Now you also have an offensive line that is a work in progress. You have a group of wide receivers, may be the physically biggest group of receivers Stock's had in quite a while. And then you're rebuilding your running game with Frank Pizant and then 3 transfers. And one of those guys I think opened some eyes the other day. And that was the running back, Darius Bracey, who transferred from Central Michigan. Really runs with some power and has that burst that you're looking for. So those guys, receivers, one in particular, Jeremy Tate, is a very intriguing proposition. He is 6'5", 259. He was a tight end in Brent Dearman's offense. Well, Mitch Stewart's air raid offense really does not have tight ends. There's some H-back situations and all that. He's just a big receiver, and he is converted into that wideout, has good speed, but boy, I mean, he's a big target, and he can also block, and he's good in the screen game, which in the air raid, that's something that's going to be important. So you got that, you got the defensive unit came out. You've got your front 4 that are intact. You've got one starting linebacker that was scheduled to return, and then you're trying to replace Greg Great and Reed Blankenship in the secondary. And Dedrick Stanley played on Saturday like he was trying to replace both of them. I mean, he was everywhere on the field, which that's good to see, because he's a guy who got quality time a year ago, and he has the look of a guy that sees an opportunity out there, and he's trying to get after it.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chip, I got to come back to Jeremy Tate Jr. for just a second, as I'm looking at Sam Doughton's wrap-up from 5 players that have stood out early in camp. I mean, a 6'5", 259-pound wide receiver is going to stand out. And I would think that's got to dictate some matchups as folks try to get ready for MTSU this fall. I mean, how do you guard that guy when he splits out? Cornerbacks aren't going to want any part of that.
No, I mean, if he's in the slot, chances are a linebacker's gonna be covering him, and you would hope he has speed to beat a linebacker. And then if he's on the outside, he's a size matchup for most corners and safeties. So that's what I'm saying. He's really intriguing. He's a transfer, from Memphis, and I think Sam put it really, really well. He said that Tate is one of the most intriguing weapons on Mitch Stewart's chessboard. So that's the way he put that. And with the skill set that he has, really, he's an exciting guy to watch. And then you've got like DJ England Chisholm. He's got great speed. Isaiah Gathings coming back. Yusuf Ali, both have good size coming back as well. So it's a big group. And with this offense, everything happens really fast in this air raid offense, and just to back up and take that 30,000-foot view of it, how does it compare to what we saw? Number one, they're playing extremely fast right now, and faster than even when Tony Franklin was here, from my estimation. And also there is a there's something about the way they're going about their business on the field that the only way I can put it, there seems to be an extra zip with this offensive unit, and a sense of urgency, I guess, would be another way to put it. But they're really they're really getting after it, and in turn, when they're out there in scrimmage situations, it's forcing the defense to have to do the same thing.
Intriguing. I think that's a perfect descriptive, like you said, for somebody of that size at that position, and he's certainly going to bear watching, and it won't take long to find him, I don't guess. So
no, you'll be able to see him pretty quick.
That's gracious. That's pretty amazing. Chris, did you have any other football stuff that you wanted to broach with? Oh, wait a minute, I got to go back. Chip, anytime you can get a Jim Cartwright mention in on this show, we're all for it. So
that was one of the all-time greats. The other one that really jumps out at me from back in the day, they were getting ready to play Maplewood, and he was and Maplewood was loaded with some great athletes, and they were coming in to I'm not even sure, it was not even Lindsey Nelson Stadium at the time, but they were coming to Columbia, and he was trying to find a way to motivate. And I think they were at the end of practice on Thursday afternoon, and Joe Graham and Ray Stockstill, his whole group of assistants were in there, and Tommy Bates, who was my biology teacher, and he was also the trainer. Cartwright's in there, and he's giving them whatever he can think of, and he said, I don't care if they're walnut wood or hickory wood or maple wood, we're going to go after them, Coach Bates. And Mr. Bates fires up a chainsaw and saws a desk in half. So that was the Maplewood story. And I'm talking about a student, like a wooden student desk, not a teacher desk, but Coach Cartwright got Tommy Bates to saw a desk in half, illustrating that it was maple wood that they were going to saw through.
That may be one of the better stories in the history of Southern Middle Tennessee, right there.
You need to ask Vance Ballou, who, by the way, is celebrating a birthday today.
Oh wow!
The cat turns 59 today, so happy birthday to Cat Ballou.
Happy birthday to Cat, who survived playing for Jim Cartwright, and I guess avoided the chainsaw. Man, I can't believe that I've not heard that story before. That's awesome. Thank you, Chip.
Yes, sir.
Shifting.
I guess that's gonna really it's gonna really deaden the mood here. And I hate to do that, because I just want to know: are we gonna find out who the quarterback is before week 1, or are we just gonna show up and we're gonna have to listen to Chip Walters do his best Doug Layton impression? Oh my God, they're in the wishbone.
Yeah. Now, I think the locker room will know.
Okay.
I think they'll know going into that final week of practice. I think I'll probably get Mark Owens will probably drop a depth chart off maybe an hour prior to kickoff, and probably at that point he would probably confirm what my feelings probably are. I would say right now Chase Cunningham probably has the slightest of advantages in that, but still, I mean, these two guys, huge friends, great competition, push each other, which, it's really, if you're going to have that situation, it's as good as it can be.
Gotcha.
Speaking of
Mo wants
wood,
to shift gears to there, Mr. Transition.
Yeah, speaking of wood, some wood in Murphy Center got some work here over the last few weeks, and Chris, did we actually get that video?
No, we did not.
Okay, that's all right. We can rely on Chip Walters to paint a picture for us of the new court at Murphy Center.
It dropped. If you go to my Twitter, I think I put it out there, but they dropped this video on Sunday night, and there had been back 3 months ago, 4 months ago, submit your thoughts for a new design on the court, and I think they had some really good stuff came in, and they pulled some of what were the best, they felt like were the best aspects of different ones. And the final version, if you have been in Murphy Center, obviously there was blue around the edges, blue lanes, things like that. And then but the main part of the floor had kind of a yellow pineish tint to it. Well, no more. It is now a kind of an ashy gray, and like it looks almost like ash wood. Oh, that's not it, but it's a gray scale, and but man, you talk about the blue popping off the floor. I mean, it almost looks fluorescent. And I actually went over there yesterday to look at it with my own eyeballs, and yeah, it is as good as the video. And the thing was, they dropped that on Sunday night, and it took off on social media and on Twitter, and I think I only saw one comment that was not, flames or really positive. One guy said, well, the blue on the floor doesn't match the blue in the seats.
I saw that.
But outside of that, it really has it's got a different look to it. And between that and the new glass in Murphy Center, which when I went in there yesterday, they had the tint turned down pretty dark, and so the floor really shined under the LED lights, and it's going to have a different look to it. So I think fans are going to really, really like it.
If that guy wants to pay for new seats, I'm sure Massaro and that bunch will take it. But what set it off to me, Chip, before you pointed out the TriStar logo, because I missed it initially, but the state of Tennessee logo at center court behind
shadow
center circle, yeah,
and very subdued, a different tone of gray that makes it stand out above the rest of the floor. But yes, that cameo of the state.
Yes, yeah, it's fantastic. I just think it's a great look, and I think it's one of the best things MTSU has done in a pretty good while. And so whatever they pulled those different elements from to get there, kudos to whoever pulled all that together. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and then that's kind of opened the door for one of the things that the athletic department has put out there in the last couple of weeks is that they were taking applications for a fan involvement committee, basically to a kind of a game day experience, where we'll have, it's almost like a sounding board group to where, what ideas, as fans do you have for the game day experience in football and basketball? And then they'll come back after, I'm not sure if after each game or after certain games, and kind of give their thoughts on how things played out. And that's when they want to get feedback from the fan base on what they want and what they liked or disliked when they were there.
It's it's a great thought. And we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago. And sometimes when you get fans input, it's their experience. So those are the people you need to be asking what's good and what's bad, because
and
they're the ones who have to, and the better the fan experience, the more tickets you'll sell.
Yeah. And the thing too, I think there'll end up being a lot of, I think the fans who are on that committee I think they'll learn a lot too, because, it's, we've all heard a million times, somebody said, well, if they were smart, they would fill in the blank, whatever that is. Yeah. And
if I've heard it once.
and there's, and sometimes some of those things you just cannot physically pull off or fiscally pull off when it comes to the price tag with it or whatever reason. And I think there will be a lot of feedback and if there's a question, well, hey, why can't we do this? Well, they can get immediate feedback from the administration on, well, here's the reason, we looked at that, but either could or could not, and here's why or why not. So I think that open dialogue, I think, will be helpful back with the fan base.
Certainly. No question there. Chip, as always, it's a pleasure. We appreciate it. Look forward to hearing you soon up in at JMU.
Wow. It's getting closer all the time, and I'll try to think up a couple of more Coach Cartwright. I do have one good Nancy Cartwright story that I'll save for a later date.
If you come up with another Jim Cartwright story to top that one, I'm as a former presidential candidate said, I'm all ears. So.
I got you.
Yeah.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, as always, at Choose Chip on Twitter. Go check him out. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, final segment of the day, Top 5 Tuesday. So stick around on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's Top 5 Tuesday, brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. Our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness, stylists still in the gang, at steelathletes.com, at steelathletes on Instagram. Go check them out. Mid-South 5 Fitness with your top 5. Today's top 5 is college football game day traditions.
Oh, it's college football. I thought it was just college traditions.
Oh, so yours is just keggers then?
No, not all of them. Not all of them.
Just 2?
None of them.
Sorry. It's okay. You can totally you can. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Follow the directions.
It's okay. We'll take it.
All right.
All right. So we start with number 5. Mo, do you have a number 5?
My number 5 and my number 4 are kind of interchangeable probably, and I've probably missed a few, but I'm going to go with Clemson's entrance into their version of Death Valley for their home games as they come down the hill and rub Howard's Rock.
It's a good one. And it's
solid.
I think the bus ride up to the top of the hill is cooler than the run down. Remember when ESPN was on the bus with them a couple years ago? That was pretty cool. I was like, the fact that they had to ride a bus to the top just to run back down, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's a little contrived at that point, isn't it? I mean, we're already down here, but we're going to get on this bus, go up, and then run back down.
So,
okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will go. My number 5 is Enter Sandman. Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Okay.
Inner Sandman's huge. I love it. I just like the, I like the sound of Inner Sandman in general and in a stadium. So it works. What is your number 5? And let's just see where you got this. where does Justin go? Today's a surprise.
To throw a wrench in everything. Mine's also, though, Virginia Tech, Chris. So piggybacking off is the first big snowball fight of the year. And it's
okay.
Yeah, so Virginia Tech's student body used to be entirely Reserve Officer Training Corps. So every year during the first big snowfall, students break up into 2 teams, cadets and civilians, and duke it out in a massive snowball fight in honor of the school's history.
Okay.
All righty then.
So there you go.
More history, Chris.
More history. Today it's History
Day.
Tuesday.
Yep, there we go. What's your number 4?
We're just going to skip you. Okay, that's fine. I'm
What?
cool with that. Well, we started with you, but that's okay. I'll go. That doesn't matter. My number 4 is Running Through the T.
It's your number 4?
It is my number 4.
Okay. All right. My number 4 is the Grove at Ole Miss.
Tailgating in the Grove is a great tradition.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's kind of a college tradition.
Mm-hmm.
But it is associated with football. So there's
exactly.
That. Sorry,
Justin.
I was trying to help you out, but
no, I got a football one here now. I'm just going to go off here. We're going rogue. I really enjoy it when any college football team does their color blank out, like orange out, or like white out, or whatever it is.
When Tennessee does the checkerboard, that's cool.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like anytime they have that crowd in on whatever they're doing, it's awesome. The home stadium.
Penn State's whiteout is pretty cool.
It's pretty.
I'll give them that.
Yeah, it's solid.
Number 3 for me. Head down south to Grambling and Southern's Battle of the Bands. It is insanely cool.
Is it?
It really is. Like, it's one of those things where that's one of the few times that you'll catch a broadcast camera actually caring about the bands is during that Battle of the Bands. It's amazing.
Southern's got the human jukebox. And I don't remember what Grambling's band's nickname is, but that's solid. My number 3 is the Vol Navy.
Good one.
That is
Vol
solid.
Navy. Vol Navy is great.
Yeah.
I love Vol Navy.
It's so unique. I think they and Washington are the only 2 stadiums that are close enough to bodies of water for that to be a tradition, but they both certainly get a lot of mileage out of that. It's pretty cool.
Number 3, Justin?
So number 3 for me, again, going off the cuff here, Hawaii, don't they do that? Or no, that's Iceland for rugby. You know what I'm talking about? That dance that like they slap their legs.
Oh, the
what's it called?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's kind of a Pacific Islander,
right?
Motivated.
Yeah, they get like really hype. Chris, you know exactly what we're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And yes, they do that,
and it's cool.
And it is cool.
It's very cool, and I wish I could think of what it is exactly. It's unfortunate. Chris, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is kind of a compilation, but I have a favorite of them, and it's just all of the animal things. So Boomer Schooner, the thing that USC does, Running with Ralphie, anything that has to do with all the animals, those are all cool. But my favorite one is Chief Osceola and throwing the spear into the midfield that's flaming. That's just, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It gets me fired up.
The Hawaiian warrior dance is called the haka.
Haka. I was just going to say that.
It's a traditional war cry chant dance from the Maori people of New Zealand.
New Zealand. That's what I meant to say. And
not Iceland. No.
Right. Exactly. Think about.
He was thinking rugby. Rugby. I mean, Iceland, New Zealand, same.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I mean, I couldn't imagine playing somebody after they do that to me.
So my number 2 is running through the T, Chris.
Oh,
nice.
Number 2.
Yeah. I was surprised you didn't have it higher, but okay.
Justin,
would you consider the Vol Rock, the one they paint? Would that be I guess it'd be an all sports thing?
It's kind of, but yeah, it's used a lot for football.
They use it for a lot up there.
I know. Anything they want to express.
Independence High School has one.
Really?
Yeah, they do. They paint a very small rock on campus. But it is cool. They do paint one, so it's neat. It's neat.
Hey, anytime there's a rock being painted, it's good. It's good for anybody.
All right, number 1, I'm going Homer. Super Homer, all the way down to Jacksonville, Alabama, where after every game, the football team goes to the Marching Southerners band and they all sing together, "I'll Fly Away."
Solid.
Singing with the band is just cool in general, but "I'll Fly Away" is my favorite, and it's pretty neat. It's fun to watch.
My number 1, and it's a little sappy maybe, but the Iowa Wave.
Oh,
where
the Kinnick Wave.
Yeah, where the fans at Kinnick Stadium turn and wave to the Children's Hospital that's right behind the stadium, and it's kind of cool, I think.
I agree. I agree with you. It is one of my favorite things. I missed that one, but yeah. Number 1, Justin, your number 1 college tradition is keggers. No,
yeah, partying, bro. No, so I mean, I'd have to say running out the tee was my number 1, but I just don't want to be,
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
it's solid. It really is.
It's football time in Tennessee. I mean,
exactly.
It's everything you want it to be.
Exactly.
For college football, I mean, it's hard to put it into to express it, but yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things about Alabama before they come out is they have Coach Bryant. They have this montage of Coach Bryant saying, "I ain't never been anything but a winner," blah blah blah, and it's like that gets you excited. I mean, that just feels like college football to me. And when you hear John Ward say it's football time in Tennessee, and then they're running out of the tee, it's just that is college football.
Yeah.
So
I have an honorable mention.
What's that?
South Carolina, Williams-Brice Stadium, sandstorm. Enough said.
Yeah, that's a good one. There you have it. That's the top 5 brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We're going to get out of here, and George Plaster at 4 o'clock from 4 to 6. Make sure to check him out. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got Andy Burcham and Heather Williams talking NASCAR. So come back. It's going to be a good one. Main Street Sports Today presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. For Mo, I'm Chris. Have a great day.